Ask yourself this: what would you be willing to sacrifice for a vision bigger than you? The book The Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett is a powerful historical novel set in 12th century England. At its heart, it tells the story of people trying to build a great cathedral in a small town called Kingsbridge. But this is not just a story about stone and architecture. It is about ambition, power, faith, love, revenge, and survival. It shows how ordinary people face extraordinary struggles when politics, religion, and personal desires collide. Let's break down the core lessons hidden inside this epic story. First idea: a clear vision gives life direction. Tom Builder, one of the central characters, dreams of building a magnificent cathedral. That dream keeps him moving even when he loses work, faces poverty, and watches his family suffer. He is not rich. He is not powerful, but he has a vision. That vision becomes his anchor. In real life, think about someone starting a small business in a tough economy. They might struggle for years. Sales are slow, bills pile up, friends doubt them. But if they have a clear picture of what they want to create, they keep going. Without that vision, they quit. The takeaway is simple. If you do not choose your long-term vision, your short-term problems will choose your future for you. Write down one big thing you want to build in your life. It does not have to be a cathedral. It could be a career, a family, culture, a skill, or a reputation. Let that guide your daily actions. Second idea: power without integrity destroys everything. The novel is filled with powerful figures like Bishop Walleran and the ruthless William Hamley. They use religion, politics, and violence to control others. They manipulate laws. They twist truth. They harm innocent people just to protect their status. At first, it seems like they are winning. They have wealth, armies, and influence. But over time, their actions create enemies. Their cruelty isolates them. Their greed blinds them. Eventually, their own choices become the reason for their downfall. Look around in modern life. A manager who abuses authority may get quick results. A politician who lies may gain short-term support. A business owner who cuts ethical corners may make fast money. But in the long run, trust erodes. Relationships break. Reputation collapses. The clear action here is this: guard your integrity more than your position. Power is temporary. Character is permanent. When you make decisions, ask yourself not just will this work, but can I live with this? Third idea: resilience is built in the hardest seasons. Aliena is one of the strongest characters in the story. After her father is imprisoned and their family loses everything, she is forced into poverty. She works in dangerous conditions. She faces humiliation. She carries responsibilities that most people would run from. But instead of giving up, she adapts. She learns trade. She builds connections. She becomes financially independent in a world that does not favor women. Her strength is not loud. It is steady. She keeps moving forward step by step. In real life, resilience is not about being fearless. It is about refusing to stay down. Think about someone who fails an important exam. They could label themselves a failure, or they could analyze what went wrong, change their study approach, and try again. The pain does not disappear, but they grow stronger. The takeaway: you cannot control every storm in your life, but you can control your response. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What can this teach me?" Fourth idea: long-term thinking beats short-term comfort. Building a cathedral takes decades. Some characters dedicate their entire lives to something that will not be finished in their lifetime. That level of patience feels almost impossible today. We live in a world of instant results. Fast food, fast success, fast attention. But Follett shows that anything truly meaningful requires time. The cathedral represents something lasting, something bigger than one generation. In modern terms, think about investing in your health. Going to the gym once does nothing. Eating one healthy meal changes nothing. But small daily habits over years transform your body and energy. The same is true for saving money, learning a skill, or building trust in relationships. The action step here is to focus on small, consistent progress. Ask yourself, what can I do today that will still matter 5 years from now? Now here is something many people miss when reading this story. Most people think this novel is mainly about religion or architecture, but the deeper layer is about systems. It shows how politics, religion, economics, and personal ambition all connect. When one system is corrupt, everyone suffers. When leadership is weak, chaos spreads. When justice fails, ordinary people pay the price. This is surprising because it makes the story feel very modern. Even though it is set in medieval England, the struggles are familiar. Power struggles, corruption, inequality, social tension. Human nature does not change much. And this leads us to the most powerful idea in the book. The most powerful idea is this: ordinary people shape history more than they realize. Tom is a builder. Aliena is a merchant. Philip is a monk trying to protect his priory. None of them are kings. None of them control armies. Yet their daily decisions change the fate of Kingsbridge. They choose to act with courage. They choose to work hard. They choose not to give in to fear. History is not only written by rulers. It is shaped by builders, traders, parents, teachers, and workers who refuse to give up on something meaningful. Think about your own life. You may feel small compared to global events, but your actions affect your family, your workplace, your community, the way you treat people, the standards you set, the effort you bring. These things ripple outward. Now, for a practical action you can apply today. Choose one area of your life where you have been thinking short term. Maybe it is your career, maybe your health, maybe your relationship. Instead of focusing on immediate comfort, define a long-term vision. Then take one small action today that supports that vision. Send the email. Go for the walk. Read 10 pages. Make the plan. You do not need to build a cathedral, but you do need to build something. Because in the end, the pillars of the earth is not just about stone and towers. It is about what you choose to stand for. It reminds us that while power shifts and seasons change, the structures built with integrity, patience, and courage are the ones that last. And maybe the real cathedral is not made of stone at all. Maybe it is the life you are building, one decision at a time. Let's go deeper into what makes this story so powerful and so relevant today. At first glance, The Pillars of the Earth feels like a story about survival in a brutal medieval world. There are wars between kings, political schemes inside the church, famine, injustice, and violence. But beneath all that chaos is something very human: the struggle to create stability in an unstable world. One important lesson from the novel is that skill is power. Jack, another central character, grows up as an outsider. He is different, curious, creative. He does not fully belong to the rigid society around him, but he develops a rare skill: innovative building techniques inspired by new architectural ideas spreading across Europe. That skill changes everything. While others fight with swords, Jack builds with knowledge. His understanding of structure, design, and engineering allows Kingsbridge to rise again after disasters. His expertise becomes more valuable than brute force. In modern life, this translates directly. In a competitive world, specialized skill sets you apart. Not noise, not popularity, not complaining. Skill. Think about someone who spends years mastering coding, design, writing, or communication. At first it feels slow. Others might seem to move ahead faster. But when real problems appear, the person with skill becomes indispensable. The takeaway is simple: invest in competence. Instead of trying to look impressive, try to become useful. The more problems you can solve, the more freedom you gain. Another powerful idea is that relationships are as important as ambition. Many characters in the book have dreams, but those who try to achieve everything alone often fail. Philip the Prior of Kingsbridge understands this deeply. He knows that leadership is not about control. It is about cooperation. He builds alliances. He negotiates. He listens. He is not perfect. He struggles. He doubts. But he consistently works to create unity rather than division. In real life, we often focus only on personal goals, career growth, financial success, status. But no cathedral was built by one person. Every stone required teamwork. Look at any successful company or community project. Behind it, you will find collaboration, trust, shared responsibility. The action here is practical. Strengthen one key relationship this week. It could be a colleague, a partner, a friend. Have an honest conversation. Offer support. Ask how you can help. Long-term success is rarely a solo journey. Now let's talk about fear. Fear drives many destructive actions in the novel. William Hamley acts out of insecurity and wounded pride. He cannot handle rejection or loss of control. Instead of growing, he chooses cruelty. His fear turns into aggression. This is not just medieval drama. It is human psychology. When people feel powerless, they sometimes try to dominate others. When they feel insecure, they attack. When they fear losing status, they lie or cheat. But the characters who grow the most are those who face fear differently. They do not let it define them. Aliena fears poverty, but learns trade. Jack fears rejection, but pursues his craft anyway. Philip fears political enemies, but continues leading with principle. The takeaway: fear is information, not instruction. It tells you something matters, but it should not decide your behavior. The next time you hesitate because of fear, pause and ask, is this protecting me or limiting me? Here is another insight many viewers might overlook. The cathedral itself is more than a building. It is a symbol of shared meaning. In a violent and uncertain world, it gives people something to believe in together. It creates jobs. It shapes identity. It represents hope. Today we may not build cathedrals, but we still need shared meaning. Without it, communities break down. Work becomes empty. Life feels transactional. This is why purpose matters so much. When people feel part of something meaningful, they endure hardship differently. They sacrifice more willingly. They cooperate more naturally. And this brings us back to the strongest lesson of the entire story. The most powerful idea in the Pillars of the Earth is that lasting impact requires sacrifice. Every major achievement in a novel costs something. Time, comfort, safety, pride, sometimes even love. The cathedral stands tall because people gave parts of themselves to it. In our lives, we often want success without sacrifice. We want recognition without effort, stability without discipline, growth without discomfort. But the story makes it clear. If you're not willing to give something up, you are unlikely to build something that lasts. This does not mean destroying yourself for ambition. It means understanding that meaningful goals demand trade-offs. You might sacrifice late nights out to build your business. You might sacrifice short-term income to learn a new skill. You might sacrifice ego to repair a relationship. The practical action step today is this. Identify one sacrifice that would move you closer to your long-term vision. Maybe it is reducing distractions. Maybe it is waking up earlier. Maybe it is cutting one unhealthy habit. Choose one small sacrifice and commit to it for the next 7 days. When you finish this book, what stays with you is not just the drama or the historical setting. It is the sense that life is bigger than individual moments. That your daily choices are like stones placed carefully in a larger structure. You may not see the full result of your efforts immediately, You may never see the complete picture, but that does not make your contribution small. A cathedral is not built in a day. A strong life is not built in a week. Both are built the same way, one deliberate stone at a time. And the question is not whether you have the perfect conditions. The question is simple. What are you building right now?